Hi, I'm Stacy with the Iowa City Public Library, here to help you find a good book, even when the library building is closed to the public. I'll cover three main areas: browsing online, asking library staff for recommendations, and using our catalog like a pro. First of all, browsing. We've heard from lots of people that they miss browsing the library shelves for a good book to check out. But you can still rely on serendipity and find interesting new things just online instead. We currently have two main ways to browse for what's new. First one, at icpl.org, under Books and More, is our new page. This shows things that were recently added to the library that either you can put on hold and wait for, or that are currently available you can get right away. You can choose that status here if it matters to you whether you have to wait or not. If you choose a type of thing that you're looking for, the next option will alter so that you can find exactly what you want within that section. And if you click on any of these covers, it'll take you to that catalog record where you can read more details about the item and place a hold. Another good way to look for new things is in our catalog. So if you click the catalog link at the top and look on this blue navigation bar, it's the new materials section. My favorite is adult nonfiction because I like the way this is laid out in order, and it often reminds me of something else I'd like to search for. So you can see what's been added in roughly the last 30 days here. And again, click on a cover to read more about it in the library catalog. Or come back up here and switch to a different section. In addition to these, we have two new browsing features that are coming soon, and I can preview them for you here. One of them is recently returned. If you ever spent time standing at those shelves in the library to see what people have brought back recently before we can reshelve it, then you will love this section. So this replicates everything that came back and was checked in probably the last week or so. And you can choose a section that interests you and browse that way. Sometimes if you just can't think of a book or can't think of any direction to search, just seeing what other people have been reading is a great way to start. Another new feature that will be coming soon is called Surprise Me. And if you spell it right, you'll find it. Just one second. This is another feature that our webmaster came up with to solve the problem of not being able to wander around in the library. So you can start by choosing a section that you like, click the Surprise Me button, and it gives you an option. If you've already read that or you don't like that one, you can keep clicking Surprise Me and build up a list of possible books. You can also switch between the collections and keep clicking and clicking until you find something that you'd like. These two options, recently returned and Surprise Me, will be available under the Books and More section coming soon. And so we hope that that'll help you find something that you'd like. But if browsing on your own doesn't bring up anything, try asking us. Did you know that you can always ask librarians for book suggestions? We consider it an important part of our job, and we have this whole staff picks section on our webpage to show you how much we're reading and share our favorites with you. These are books that staff are recommending to each other and to you, lists that we've made on different topics. Here's our little pictures of all the people who would love to help you find a book to read. You can ask anyone who works at the library for a recommendation anytime, but for best results, if you don't need an immediate suggestion, our new service allows us to find the best people to make recommendations for you. And that is under Books and More, Staff Picks Just for You. This new service of ours connects you with library staff who will scour the collection for you and find fantastic books you didn't even know you wanted. So you'll start by giving us some information about yourself and your favorite books, and then we'll be able to make some suggestions for you. The first question you'll have to answer is what form you'd like it to take. You can either ask for a list of 3 to 5 book recommendations, and you'll get that as an email or a phone call. That's nice if you want to just hear some ideas to add to your to-be-read list or get some suggestions that you can research further on your own. Or if you're willing to take a chance on us, you can ask for a book bundle, and library staff will collect the books that they think you might like, put them on hold for you, and you can pick them up at the pickup point. If you do the bundle, a couple of points. When you receive it, feel free to look through and return anything that you've already read or that isn't a good fit for you, and no one's feelings will be hurt. And also for the bundle, those items will not count towards your limit of 12 holds. But let's imagine that I'm going to fill this out for a list. So I chose the list. I would put in my personal information so that I could be contacted. I would choose a format, so books in print is sort of the default, but you can also use this for any other type of library material you might like, other including artwork, be interesting. And then once you fill in an age group, the main questions pop up. So you can choose an area of interest, and there'll be some ways to narrow it down. And then there are some fields where you can fill in some of your personal favorites. Please take the time to put in favorite authors and books and think about why you liked them, because that will help us make the best informed recommendations for you. It's a chance to avoid certain kinds of content that you wouldn't like, and then a note field for anything else you'd like to tell us. We're really excited about this new service, and we hope that you will try it out and let us know how we did for you so that we can grow and keep it around for a long time to come. We will rely on staff expertise to come up with these suggestions, but in a pinch, we also have a tool we can use that's available to anyone with a library card, and that is NoveList. If you go to Books and More and Online Resources, and I like to limit down by books and reading, or you can scroll straight down to the ends for NoveList. So we'll get you to the database. If you are in the library, you won't have to log in, but outside of the library, you'll need to log in with your library card number and PIN or password. There are a couple of main ways to use NoveList, which is a database completely designed around helping you find a good book to read. One of them is to start with a book that you already liked. So let's use this example. I can click on the title here to open up the record for this book, and immediately my eye goes to the right for the read-alikes. These are books that they think might be a good match for someone who enjoyed Where the Crawdads Sing. I can see a description of the book, some of the appeal terms or descriptive terms for what this book is like. And then this box is kind of important. This is checking the Iowa City Public Library's catalog, and it's telling you that there are copies available right now, so that you don't have to look to see whether ICPL owns this or not. There are books in NoveList that our library doesn't have, so you'll want to keep an eye out for that. But if you do a careful NoveList search and you come up with a title that we don't own, you can always contact us and see if we can borrow it from another library for you. So don't be afraid to bring that up if you find something we don't have. So I scroll down, you'll see that there are some reviews here. The other tab that I like is lists and articles. This has a book discussion guide and some other resources that you might like to try. So if you're in a book group, or if you just want to think more deeply about something, you might like to look into that. And then this is really the major part of NoveList that has a lot of power. So these are different characteristics that they listed about this book. And what I can do is I can choose the elements that were really important to me, as many as I like, and then click search in order to pull up similar books that also match those two settings. There are a couple of other ways to use NoveList. If I go back to their homepage, you'll see they give an example of a way to search by keyword where you can search for a setting. So a country that you're interested in, or a region, a time period, something in particular about the characters or subject matter. So you can try to do a search, general search there. But you can also scroll down and see what they have on offer here. They've pulled out some types of books, and they'll let you do your own combination with their appeal mixer, which I think is pretty fun. So here we are in the appeal mixer. It started by putting us in the adult category, but if you're looking for something for a younger reader, you can choose that age group there. And then the categories are character. There's lots of options for the type of character that you might be interested in. Illustration mostly applies to graphic novels, so I'll skip that for now, but you can choose a pace. There's only a few options, but that might be really important to you, whether it's fast or slow. Storyline has a handful of options, the way that the story is constructed. The tone of the book has many options, and so this could be a good chance to reflect on what it is that you enjoy about the books that you love. And if you're not sure, again, a good place to start is by searching for the title of something that you already like and seeing how it's described. Finally, writing style is your last choice. Again, there's a good amount of options there. So let's see if I can find things for introspective characters with an offbeat tone. It's only 11 things, but that could be enough to find me something good. And remember, not everything listed in here is necessarily owned by our library, so you might have to do a little poking around to see. Another option for approaching NoveList is to do their genres that they provide, or along the left, they've got their own recommended reading lists that you might like to peruse. We hope that you'll like NoveList as a way to find similar books to ones you already love, or start from scratch with the story elements that you like. Let's go back to the library's website, and I'll share some tips on how to use our catalog like an expert. Going to the catalog up here. So our catalog can feel overwhelming. Either you might see too many results, or it might feel like you don't see any if you don't know where to start. So let's begin by looking carefully at a record. I'm going to do Where the Crawdads Sing again. If you're like me, you probably don't spend a lot of time looking in here. You might look to see if it's available, see what the call number is, and then move on. But there's a lot more in here that you could explore. First of all, there's an all formats section to the right. So if you look at this and you see all of our copies are out, but you're open to trying another format, that can be a fast way to look for it. It's also useful if you are in a book club and one of your members requires large print or an e-audiobook. It can be a fast way to see what we all have. Another place to look here is the summary of the book. There's subject headings, which I'll come back to later, and some extras, including reviews. It used to be when you clicked on things like this in our catalog, it would take you out to another web page, but now it's been improved so that it's all a pop-up within this same window so that you don't lose your spot. These reviews are coming from like professional book reviewers, but if you scroll down a little bit farther, you'll find that we also have Goodreads reviews mixed in here, and you can see these crowdsourced reviews from other readers like you. Coming back up, you'll see that I went past the NoveList section. So these are the same read-alikes or similar titles that we saw in the database. And you can click on one of them to see whether we have copies owned at our library and why they think it might be a similar match to that book. Same thing for authors that they think are probably similar. If I come down a little bit more, you'll see these story elements from NoveList again. You can't choose more than one at a time here, but if there was one that really spoke to you, you could click on it and pursue it that way. I'll also mention that there is a handy link here that opens up NoveList if you wanted to dig in deep and didn't want to have to navigate through all of our steps to open up NoveList from scratch. This next section with the Lexile and accelerated reader things is really for younger readers, although anyone might find it useful. If you are trying to find a book to purchase as a gift for a younger reader in your life, and let's say you know they liked Wings of Fire, you could open up one of those books, scroll down to that section, see that it's been given this certain Lexile measure, and search for other things within that range. I'll also point out that the options that you see in the catalog depend on the book. So if I search for the Testaments, I'll see a couple more options than I did for Where the Crawdads Sing. So I've got the same summary, things like that, but since this is a book in a series, I get to see the series order and the titles here, which is very handy. I'll also, keep going here, see award winners. And if I am interested that this won the Man Booker Prize, I can click on that and see other books that won that prize in recent years. And if it's a blue link, that means that our library owns it. And if it's not, it means that we don't have that book at this time. But again, you can always put in a suggestion that we get it or see if we can borrow it from another library for you. So I'll close out of that. And let's finally talk about subject headings. So for this book, there's 5 subject headings here. And if you haven't spent much time noticing these before, you might wonder where they come from. Subject headings have been around for about 100 years from the Library of Congress as a way to have consistency across libraries about what books are about. And so libraries have some control over it, but mostly it's provided for us. And you might decide to use this as a way to decide what a book is about, or you can click on one of them and see other books that also share that subject heading. It's not just that one, lots of options. If you get to know a subject heading that you really love, you can do a search for it, either as a keyword search or in the advanced search. I can choose subject, and my favorite is conduct of life. This is kind of an old-timey phrase that encompasses a lot, usually nonfiction, self-help or philosophy books. So you can decide if there's some that you like to follow up on periodically. Let's say that someone recommends you a book and you really can't tell from the title what this book is about. You can read the summary here, or sometimes the subject headings can tell you a lot at a glance about what that book is about. For this one, Let's say I was interested in this, but since all of the copies are out, I would like to find something similar. I could click on some of those subject headings, or this is a little known feature. If I click on this call number, which is a link, I can do a browse of the books that are nearby on the shelf, even if they're checked out right now. So my current book shows up in the middle, and I can go either to the left or to the right and see everything that's in that section in the library. If I don't like the way that this is loading, you can also view it as a list too. Let's see. Another option that you might like is to see what is currently on order by the library. I showed you earlier how to see what's new in the catalog, but this takes it even a step farther to see what we don't even have yet. So if you put the words on order in quotes and do a search, you'll see everything that has this status since about 1800 things. You can use this to beat everyone else to the hold list, or browse it to see if there are new seasons of your favorite TV show or comic book coming out in the next few months. So 1800 is a lot of things to look through though. So you can use these refinements on the left to narrow it down to just the sections that you like. For instance, if you do DVD and you realize right away, oh, I don't want to see any children's DVDs, you can also get to know the locations and narrow it down that way. So I happen to know that the one that says just DVD collection is the DVDs for adults. And so if I click that, I'll just be seeing feature films and documentaries, things like that. Remember, if you decide to use this on order search, that you can put holds on anything that you'd like, but they will be part of your limit of 12, and sometimes they'll sit there for a long time until the item eventually comes in. So bear that in mind before you use up all 12 of your slots on things that might not even come out for a couple of months. And I'll also just note that if you searched for any of these titles, they would show up as a regular catalog result as well. So you don't have to do the on order method to see what's coming up. Another feature that is lesser known is searching by part of a call number in order to browse a whole section. So if I happen to know that this is how all the call numbers start for the comedy DVDs, I can do a search for that phrase written exactly like that, because that's how it's written in these call numbers. And I'll see 1600 comedy DVDs. You can arrange that by title or by date, and doing it by date means that you'll see things that are maybe still coming, things that are recently new, and you can go back much farther than the new page goes in time. If you don't know the call number format, that's no problem. You can do a search for something that's in that same category, and then you can copy and paste from that call number into a new search. So this should get me all of the popular music CDs that we have. It comes up with 3,800. You can do the same thing here where you only see what's currently available so that you don't have to wait behind anyone in line. You can limit it or sort it by date and see what's coming soon and currently here as well. Some sections work better than others for this. So if you were trying to find mystery books, that would be a little bit trickier. You might want to do that search, but then also limit by the location so that you don't see everything that has the word mystery in it. But some of these call number formats make it very easy to browse this way. I have a couple more search tricks before I wrap it up. In the same way that we put on order in quotes, you can use quotation marks for any keyword search that you do, and then it will look for that exact series of letters and spaces. So for example, there's a series of books called Eat This, Not That. And these are pretty common words that might show up in lots of titles, right? So doing this search gives me 191 results. And the ones that I'm looking for are at the top, but if I put this in quotes, you'll see that it goes from 191 down to 12. So if you're searching for something and you get lots of results and you wish that you would have tried a different way, consider putting it in quotes. You also can always do an advanced search if that's better too. And finally, one other Boolean trick that you might like to use is truncation. That's where you use an asterisk in place of one or more letters. So let's say I want to find books about feminism, but I'm okay if the word in the title or the description is feminist, feminism, feminists plural, anything like that. So I can type in as many letters as form the start of all those words, and an asterisk will fill in the rest. So here you'll see I got feminism, feminists plural, and feminist singular. There are lots of other times that this might be useful, including searching for environmental books, where the title might have just the word environment or environmental, things like that. So that's it. If you have any questions about any of these services or techniques, please ask us, and we'll be happy to guide you in how to browse virtually, use the catalog like a pro, or get in touch with staff, and we'll be delighted to give you custom recommendations. So I hope you picked up something new today or remembered a tool that you used to know about so that you can keep finding great library books to check out from the Iowa City Public Library.